Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Alam ko na marami ngayon ay nasa online sapagkat umuulan. Sa Pilipinas, pag umulan ay malaking problema. Nawawala ang internet, nawawala ang PLDT, at nawawala ang mga nagsisimba. Nagsisimba sa Facebook. At this is my neurosis when something is moving and creating noise. I lose my thread of thought. I've been teaching for 47 years. This is my 48th year, so I'd rather we don't have these things that fall down. Okay, so let me pick it up again. Sa Pilipinas, pag umulan, ayan, babagsakan ng mga bandera. At nawawala ang aking thread of thought. Ngayon having said this, I would like you to hold on to the good news. The first reading tells us that the rain, like snow when it falls down, will definitely bear fruit. Except now in the Philippines, because if you look at the maps of Metro Manila in 1950s, in 1935, 1950s, even the early 60s, ang daming mga estero, pati sa Paranaque, pati sa Better Living, ang daming mga estero, ang daming mga maliliit na mga ilat, ngayon tinakpan ng lahat. Kaya nagbabaha sa buong Pilipinas. Tinakpan ng mga tampalasa na ginawang real estate. Pati ang mga bagay na natural na dapat ay dinadaluyan ng tubig. Kahit dyan, malapit sa Metrobank. Dati malawak yan. I know I've been here for more than 40 years. I've been seeing this road for more than 40 years. And I know it was bigger once upon a time. And right now, they are all disappearing. But the truth remains the same. When the rain falls down, the rain never fails to bear fruit in plenty. When the snow melts, the water that comes cascading down the mountains, cause life and sustains life downstream. But we are people who don't listen. And this is now where we come in. The second reading tells us more of the same. It says, St. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, says, all of creation waits with eager longing for the revelation of the children of God. Nag-iintay, nananabik ang lahat ang kabuuan ng sangnilikha upang mabunyag ang katotohanan ng mapagligtas na pag-ibig ng Diyos. Pero sa Ebanghelyo nakita natin na ang success rate ng naghasik at nagkalat ng butil ay 25% lamang. The sower is a failure. 3 out of 4 attempts are failures. And I'm talking in the human sense. Naghasik, hindi lang nagpunla. Ang mga farmers ng panahon ni Jesus, hindi inuuna ang pag-aararo. Ang mga Pilipinong mga magsasaka, inuuna ang araro. Tapos sinusuyod. Tapos nagpupunla. Ang mga farmers ng panahon ni Jesus, maghahasik, magtatapo ng butil. Unlimited. At saka mag-aararo pagkatapos. Kabaligtaran. Sasabihin natin, this is a symbol of God's prodigal love. Hindi lamang nagpunla, ang pagpupunla isa-isa. Ang paghahasik, tinatapon mo, sinasaboy mo ang butil. Ganyang kasagana ang pag-ibig ng Diyos. Ganyang kasagana ang pagmamahal at pagkalinga ng Diyos. At wala siyang itinatangi. Kung kaya ang kanyang success rate ay only 25%. First group fell on the path, sa daanan. Matapos mas may hasik sa daanan, dumaan ang mga aso, dumaan ang mga tao, dumaan ang lahat, tinuka ng mga ibon, nawala, failure. Ang ikalaway napunta sa rocky ground. Sapagkat mababaw ang lupa, ang loam, ang surface soil, tumubo ng konti, ngunit nang hindi na umulan at walang nagdilig, lahat ay nalanta at namatay. Failure on second round. And the third, most of it, some of it fell on thorns, nahasik sa dawagan, sa mga tinikan, na inis. Hindi lumaki man, ngunit na inis ng mga tinikan at mga dawagan. Failure on third count. Only 25% success. Some seed fell on good soil, and good soil allowed it to bear fruit in plenty for the life of the world. Ngayon, ang tanong sa atin na ito, okay, so kung ang ulan at ang niebe, snow, that's the Spanish word, niebe. Kung ang niebe na bumubuhos sa atin ay hindi maaari kung hindi magbunga ng panibagong buhay, ay bakit ganito nangyayari sa atin? It looks like 75% are failures. The country of Myanmar is still a failure. It has never been a success. And I think you know why. Masyadong nandun yung kamay ng China. Pinapakialaman ng military junta. Divide and conquer. Kaya sa daan-daang mga tribo ng Myanmar, hindi sila magkasundo, of course. Hindi sila magkakasundo. Bakit? May mga puwersa sa labas na nagtutulak, nagniningas, nagbubulong, at nagsasabi kung ano ang tam. At ang mga pinapabagsak na mga bomba ay galing Russia. Oh, between the two of them, Russia and China, two imperialist countries. They're all fighting for price turfs of Myanmar, Taiwan, and the next will be the Philippines. We live in the 21st century. We need to talk about the 25% success, because this is why you are here. The reason why we come to Mass is that 75% of what we do ends up in failure. Why? Ganyan tayo, nakakalimot tayo, makasalanan tayo, mapag-imbo tayo, makasarili tayo, marites tayo, marisol tolits. We talk about other people's problems. I heard repeatedly in the States in my repeated travels there, ang galing ng mga Pilipino magbilang ng perang hindi kanila. Ang galing ng Pilipino, binibilang nila ang pera ng kapitbahay, hindi ang kanilang sariling pera. Failure. We talk about failure every day, but that is the reason why you are here at Mass this morning. Because we don't want to end up a failure. We don't want to end up a vassal state of China, nor of America, nor of any other country. We don't want imperialists anymore. Pero meron pa rin mga masaswapang at mapagkimkim, mapagkamkam. At ito ang dahilan kung bakit tayo nagsisimba. Bakit? That's the story of all of us. The story of all of us, the reality is that at times in our lives, we're like the path. Magandang daan, pero ganyang kanipis lamang ang alkitran. Kasi sa gagawin niya pag dumating uli ang eleksyon, kaya manipis ang alkitran. Hindi ginagawa ng mabuti. At matapos maayos, darating ang nawasa, sisirain na naman ang daan. Di mag-e-eleksyon na naman, may paskil, may tarpaulin na naman. Ito ang pinupuntahan ng ating taxes. Ito ang pinupuntahan ng ating katiwalian, ng ating pagiging mapagkamkam, mapagkimkim. Some roots, some seeds fell on the path. Maganda, pero manipis ang, hindi ko maalala yung salita, alkitran lagi ang sinasabi ko. The pavement, yung itim na pavement. Some seeds fell on rocky ground. Ang buhay natin ay puno ng bato, magaspang. Bakit? Magaspang rin kumisa ng ugali natin. at hindi patagandaan. At sapagkat puno ng bato at mga kung ano-ano pa, ay hindi nagkakaroon ng pag-asa ang salita ng Diyos na magbunga. At kung minsan tayo naman ay mga dawagan. And we are all in it together. This is the story of the human being, a story that made God send His Son after Adam and Eve fell and disobeyed. The Lord never lost trust in the person who created. I have been teaching for 47 years. This is my 48th year beginning this August. And every year I hear questions like, if God is really true and really loves us, bakit naghihirap ang Myanmar? Bakit may gera pa sa Ukraina? Bakit may mga taong swapang at may mga imperialistang naghahanap kamkamin ang lahat ng mga mahihirap at mahihinang bansa? Welcome to the reality of who you are and who I am. God created us free. God who created us without us will not save us without us. We need to help Him. We need to be not the path, not the rocky ground, not the thorn. We need to be the good soil. And this is now the reason why we started the Mass with the penitential rite. I confess to Almighty God and to you, my brothers and sisters. We confess to the Lord because we are like the path, the rocky ground, and the thorns. And there is only 25% of the time when we claim to be the good soil that allows the seeds, the prodigality of God's love, to bear fruit in plenty for the life of the world. The Lord is like the stories of all those stories of unrequited love. I am reminded of Eponine singing because she loved Marius secretly and saying, I can only love Marius on my own, and without me the world will turn around him and his life will go on. I can only love on my own. The story of unrequited love. And sometimes in our human nature, we surrender and say, tama na nga, pagod na akong maging mabait, pagod na akong magpakabuti, pagod na akong nangangalaga sa lahat ng mga taong hindi naman nagpapasalamat, hindi marunong magpasalamat. Pero ano ang sabi ni Alfred Lord Tennyson, when one of his best pals died suddenly at 22 years old, he said, it is better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. Why? You say the Lord is a failure? 3 out of 4 attempts are failure. The path, the rocky ground, and the thorns, and only the 4th was a success. Well, this is the good news for you and me. Despite all the bad news that I have just said about you and me, about all of us, about Russia, China, and the Philippines, full of corruption. Kaya maninipis yung mga alkitran sa kalye at madaling masira pag umulan. Ano ang sinasabi niya? It is better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. Bakit? When you love and you try to do good for God, for love, for others, there is no failure. You are not a loser because God is not a loser. You are with God. So do it. Let's do it together. Let's make a better country. Let's make a better parish. Let's make a better barangay Don Bosco. And it all depends on you and me.